Okay, so we're talking about one-to-one functions today, but before we do that, let's remember what we talked about a few weeks ago. Lost my brain on how to determine if we have a function or not. Do you guys remember how we decided if a relation was a function or not? We looked at all of what? The x's. As long as all of the x's are different, then it is a function. So that will be the first part that we're going to do today, is making sure these things are functions. And then what we're going to do is we're going to determine if they are functions, are they one-to-one functions? And a one-to-one function is a function whose inverse, which we'll talk about inverses tomorrow, is also a function. And the way we determine that is basically if we're looking at our ordered pairs or our picture or anything like that, we're looking to make sure all of our domain and range values are different. Okay, that determines whether it's one-to-one. So first of all, to determine if it's a function, we look only at the x's. If it is a function, then we're going to determine if it's one-to-one, and then we're going to turn to our y values. If all of our y values are different, then it is a one-to-one function. If they are not all different, then it is not a one-to-one function. So we're answering two questions. First, is it a function? Second, is it a one-to-one function? Okay, so we have three sets of ordered pairs of three relations that we have listed, A, B, and C. And we're going to first determine if it's a function. If it is a function, then we're going to ask, is it a one-to-one function? So look at our first relation. My ordered pairs are 0, 0, 1, 1, and 1, negative 1. My first question, is that a function? No. I have x values that have been repeated, correct? I have a 0 and then I have 1 twice. So therefore, this thing is not a function, and I'm just going to write NF because I don't want to write the words not a function. If it's not a function, there is no need to check to see if it's one-to-one, because if it's not a function, it can't be one-to-one. So that's all we have to do on that one. Everybody okay? So let's take a look at B. First question, is it a function? Let's look at our x values. I have negative 1, I have 0, and I have positive 1. So that is a function. Okay. And then because it's a function, we're going to either say yes, it is one-to-one, or no, it is not. And now, to determine if it is one-to-one, all I have to look at are the y values. Are all of those different? No. So it is not one-to-one, or you can just put no. Okay. Function or not? If yes, then ask, is it one-to-one? Does everybody kind of understand that? Okay, x is for it being a function. If it is a function, then focus on the y's. What about C? I got negative 1, 0, 0, and 1, 1. Let's start by asking, is it a function? It is. Okay, so that is a function. And then we're going to ask, since we know it's a function, is that function one-to-one? Look at your y values. Are they all different? Yes. So this one is yes, it is one-to-one. I just probably forgot to put a letter there. It's just me rushing through typing up notes. Does that make sense? So again, first, is it a function? If yes, then is it one-to-one? If it's not a function, then you're done with the question. You just move on. Is everybody okay with that? Okay. Then we're going to talk about looking at graphs. Do you guys remember what test we did on a graph to determine if we had a function? The vertical line test, right? Okay, so we run a vertical line across our graph. If it touches only one spot at a time, yes, it's a function. Well, in order to test if it's a one-to-one, instead of a vertical line test, what do you think we need to shift to? Horizontal line test, okay? So to determine if the graph of a function is one-to-one, you can do the horizontal line test. Okay, you would first have to do the vertical to make sure it's a function. And then you would do the horizontal. If the line touches the graph in more than one point at a time, the function is not one-to-one. Okay, again, vertical line tests for a function, horizontal line test to see if it is one-to-one. So I want to just take a look at these next three graphs. You don't have to draw them. So the red part is what I'm checking. Oh, don't want to show you. So again, before we can determine if it's one-to-one, we have to determine if it's a function. Do you notice how on that first graph we have that blue dotted vertical line? That's testing whether this thing is a function. Is it a function? Does it pass that vertical line test? Okay. So that one is not a function, so there is no need to even look to see if it's one-to-one because it did not pass the vertical line test because it touched the graph in two spots at once. Everybody okay with that? All right. Now the second one, we have our vertical line test. Let me do it in a different color. That I'm highlighting in purple. Does this graph pass the vertical line test to be a function? It does. Okay, so it is a function. And then I have to do my horizontal line test to see if it is one-to-one. Would that be a one-to-one function? No. Okay. So not one-to-one. And then what about that third graph? Is it a function? Does it pass the vertical line test? Yes. And then if I switch to my horizontal, does it pass there as well? Yes. Okay, so this one is a function. And it is one-to-one. Does that make a little bit of sense? Okay. And that's what it says under there. You don't have to write that down. I just didn't want you to see that. All right, last two. I told you quick and easy. Just look at these graphs. First of all, is it a function? And then if it's not, you're done. If it is it one-to-one? So just take a look real quick and answer those questions. Is it a function? If no, you're done. If yes, then test for one-to-one. Okay, check your vertical line test first to make sure it's a function before you try the one-to-one. What do you guys think about number one? Is that a function? Okay, so I don't even need to test. What about number two? Is that a function? Okay. And then I want to do my horizontal line test to determine if it's one-to-one, yes or no? Yes.